What's going on? This video gonna be about Jaguar Wright, and I'm gonna give her dap for going after Clive Davis. I've never been that big on him. I did a video where I said Barry Gordy is the greatest record man, and I feel that way. Clive has taken on the mantle of trying to act like he's the sugar daddy or whatever he want to be to black talent, like a slave master. Like I'm gonna give you, cast you a spell, and I'm gonna paint you a certain way. So Jaguar Wright says that she's gotten threats from Clive, and I believe it because she went after it. And my only problem with Jaguar Wright, I mean, like I said before, she had an okay career, nothing that's memorable, but Song Cry with Jay-Z, and she could sing all right, you know. And she come across like he thinks she a little crazy, a little bit out there. But I'm gonna say this: she's been hitting truce on a lot of stuff. She just went after Tasha K. And I don't really bounce into this foray too much about stuff, but I know how Clive operates with his artists. I know he takes a bridesmaid something, borrow something, blue something new approach, because he molded how he tried to do with Phyllis Hyman, Angela Bofield till you get to Whitney Houston, and then to Alicia Keys. He has to have his fingers in different acts, and he has a tendency to go after black artists, and it's like a plantation owner. And I've had a problem with that because I still don't know the talent of Sean Puffy Combs. Puffy's a charismatic marketing smart. He's smart for marketing, but what did it have to do with music? You know he was a getting ghost production, no ghost writing. What did it have to do with it? What did he have to give up? So I like what Jaguar Wright going after Clive. Cause see, I know black on black crime and how it's fashionable. But tell me who the real ringmaster, ringleader is. And that's why I give Jaguar props for going after Clive Davis. Nobody else will. That's like when Michael Jackson went after Tommy Mottola. I said, that's who you go after. Or if they go after Jimmy Iovine. Stop letting these white folks off the hook who run this Hollywood Ponzi scheme hustle and put black acts against each other, push that agenda, and using a Sean Puffy Combs or Suge Knight as puppets when the ringleaders behind them is the real gatekeepers making the real cheddar. See, you need to tell the truth. You see, it's like we'll put the window dressing, but who's behind who? That's the thing. I've never been big on Clive Davis because he thinks he's like American Idol, something like a toy store with anything, but with black acts, it's bothersome for me. He reminded me of a slave master. Like, I'll grant you whatever you want. Just sell your soul, you know. And I look at how he operate, how he got down, what happened with Whitney Houston. And that never sat right with me. There's a few situations between Whitney Houston, what Phyllis Hyman said, and also, I want to say, the whole demeanor, it's creepy. It's creepy. People ain't gonna come out and say the truth because that'd be the end of your career. And he has been responsible for a lot of things. But there's something about him that just ain't never set right with me. Because remember, Clive Davis, Arista Records, was behind Milli Vanilli. Faces to the singers who weren't singing. So there is nothing that will surprise me about his exploits. Be it the music and off what he will do to manipulate and to pimp the agenda. So I applaud Jaguar Wright for going after him because, and I know her godfather, I think is Leon Huff from Gamble and Huff. They had the payola scandal back in the early 70s with Philadelphia International Records. And Clive got bought out, they caught the brunt of it, but he went over to Arista Records. He got out of it. He's a lawyer. See. But like I said, between my issues with how I know I was gonna say make a point. Phyllis Hyman got done dirty, how Whitney Houston did it, and how the fact that Puffy got to blow up with no talent. You know this guy is a P.T. Barnum of smoke and mirrors. And he gets the wheel and deal for decades upon decades, a half a century, is scary. So Jaguar Wright, get into him, I'm with it. I don't trust him, don't like him. And to me, Clive Davis is like a slave master. It looked like. I look at all the black acts that he's had access to, and I'm like, but yeah, and yet this does not feel right. What is the compromise? What is going on? Because the business ain't all about your talent. There's other factors involved. Casting couches. If there was a real Me Too movement, believe me, he would be one of the people near the top of the list because there's a lot of situations that are deeper than we could go into. And it is just the tip of the berg. But I applaud Jaguar Wright for going after Clive Davis. Because it's about time somebody told the truth about the fakery. Because I'm just going to talk about the acts. I'm going to talk about how Puffy gets a big deal, a credit. How Milli Vanilli was on Arista. How Alicia Keys blew up. She was with Jermaine Dupri, and the Jaguar Wright spoke about this. And she was so deaf. But she couldn't, as Alicia cooked, she wasn't cooking. But as Alicia Keys for Clive. Like Rick James talked about in his book about Clive is known for spinning wheels, smoking mirrors. And that, the lying of the public is one of the biggest crimes ever with some of these fraudulent so-called talents. That alone, we ain't getting into the other stuff, but just that alone. Anyways, my thoughts and takes about props to Jaguar Wright for getting that Clive Davis long overdue. Something about him just don't set right with me, especially how the way Whitney Houston died. And I ain't the only one that feel that way. Hit the like and subscribe when the bell rings. A new video. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for one another. And if it's looking suspect and smoking mirrors in Hollywood, chances are you ain't hallucinating.